in the flight was a former India cricketer in Ambati Raidu, comes from Hyderabad. So I had enough time to chat with him. And a very interesting thing he told me while we were, chatting in the flight. He says, this win is very important for Indian cricket because we were still living off that 2007 World Cup triumph. I mean, 2011, you were playing at home. It was a 50-over format in which you're very good at. In T20 format, there was this impression that everyone had that, the world had moved on and India were behind the curve in T20 cricket. So for India to win this World Cup was very essential. And the other thing he said, you needed heroes. He said, MS Dhoni was your hero in 2007. Yuvraj Singh was your hero in 2007. They've stopped playing international cricket. You needed this generation to win a big title. And for that continuity of young kids taking on cricket, this win was very essential. And the other thing he told me, which I found very interesting, he said, now that they've won this, you take it from me in writing, they're going to win on the trot a few more big tournaments. Because this was that final hurdle they weren't being able to cross. We have a Champions Trophy coming up, a 50-over mini World Cup as they call it. He said India would be favourite to do that. WTC, the World Test Championship, they played 2 finals but missed on. He said this team now will be a different beast when they play a WTC.
I'm just trying to draw a pattern here, Nikhil, if that's anything to go by. It started with the World T20, you won the World Cup after that, then came the Champions Trophy. However, if you try drawing a pattern there, the Champions Trophy is just coming first and then the World Cup in 27.
WTC, add that.
Okay. Yes.
That is something you can go for, Rajdeep, at Lords, like you went for the previous WTC final.
It's on my calendar of things to do. I want to even go to Australia actually to see a Boxing Day test. I've never seen a Boxing Day test. It's coming up this year. Yeah. And that could well decide whether we go to the finals of WTC as well. I mean, we've got to do well in Australia. The Australians will also be looking to sort of get back after what went wrong for them in the T20 World Cup. But it's good. Australia had already won 2 titles, T20 and, 50 over and Test cricket. You needed someone else to win. I've got to go, but I have a Dharam Sankat that you have to sort for me. I have a show at 9 o'clock tonight. I was doing it on Agniveer and the controversy over that. Will this stretch into that? And if it stretched into that, as a long-time TV man, what would you suggest I do?
My suggestion is
yes.
that I think you will just about have your show start at the time that this would finish. And the other thing is, you could very well use our cricket analyst in Mr. Gavaskar, who will be joining us live at 8 p.m.
Okay.
Maybe he'll be kind enough to stretch it till 9 p.m. and then you can have him at the top of the hour.
The good news, since you mentioned Gavaskar, is the continuity there again. 1971, I was a 6-year-old. Because my dad was part of the team, I was also allowed to be on the car. Right? I have a photograph somewhere. I have a photograph of my dad. I'm not sure I have a photograph of me somewhere. My mum must have it. But Mr. Gavaskar was there.
Yes.
That was his first big tour. He came into Indian cricket that year. And he's still around. So, if there's one connection really between the first, there are 2 connections between the first roadshow and now, me and Gavaskar.
So that's why...
Think about that.
Yes.
Completely a 6-year-old and Gavaskar was 21 at the time.
Yes.
And he's now 75 this year. In fact, in a few days' time, he's going to be 75 in 10th of July.
10th
of July.
Yeah.
So he turned 75 and I am still 21. So Akshita, as
Rajdeep,
you can see...
you have to stay on with us because you're India's #1 political newsman. You're also India's #1 cricket newsman.
No, I'm not.
Everyone wants to hear what you have to say on cricket and on politics.
Nikhil has to promise to take me with him wherever he goes next time. To Mumbai?
Yeah.
No.
If you want to meet Jasprit Bumrah, you may.
Yeah, I'd love to. He lives in. No, I'd love to meet Jasprit Bumrah one day, just to sort of say that I'm just bowled over by his bowling. I haven't seen anything quite like this, and he would be in an All India, greatest ever Test and one-day team, which even Test cricket.
Test is a tough one.
Yeah, we
can debate.
We have a WhatsApp cricket book. We had a WhatsApp cricket book, and about 50 of us, and all of us had Jasprit in the team.
But the recency bias comes in.
There is a recency bias, but there is something uniquely special about him. I was told this comment that Ravi Shastri was told by the great Andy Roberts, the West Indian fast bowler, that Andy Roberts told Jasprit Bumrah 2 years ago, mate, if you were even in the 1970s, you would have been in our West Indies quartet.
Andy Roberts said that now in the Caribbean. I asked him that same question. And we have it up on...
Why don't you tell him about your interaction with Curtly Ambrose as well?
Yes, I saw that. That was a great interview. I loved it. I mean, Nikhil was trying to reach out with the mic to Curtly.
So my first question to him was, what's the weather up there like? It must be a couple of degrees cooler.
No, it was nice. You guys did a great job of it, and So I'm going to leave you guys and enjoy the moment.
There's more footage that's coming in right now, Rajdeep, but it shows the kind of celebrations really that are playing out. Everyone's got their phones out. Everyone wants that golden selfie with at least one team member seen in those pictures. But beautiful images this, because it shows you the craze and the happiness, the joy that Team India has really brought now back home. Delayed welcome, but a grand one, a fitting one at that.
Some of them are likely to miss their flights. Those are pictures of inside the airport. And I must compliment...
think they care though.
Yeah, and I must compliment some of them who are not really taking a selfie but are on video call. So they've been kind enough to their family members to show them that here are the players, and not really capturing a memory as such. But I noticed similar visuals because I was on the same flight when I came out. I thought 6 in the morning, there may be a crowd that would have gathered outside, but inside it's going to be all calm. It was anything
chaos?
but that, yeah, because everyone who was working at the airport knew that they're going to come. So everyone, whether they were working on a counter or whether they were the baggage handlers or whatever, everyone turned up at that gate. So when they walked out, there was a massive crowd at the exit. And so quickly the security whisked them away from a secret exit. They could not even, I mean, forget about coming out of the airport from a secret or the VIP exit. Even from the gate, they had to be taken out from a different exit because they could not come out to the escalators and various other things to walk till the bed. There were so many people.
You know, what we heard from our reporters was that these people had gathered, like people outside the airport at least, and this is for just what, a fleeting glimpse of these cricketers, of these stars. And for that, they gathered at 3 a.m. in the morning, waited there through the morning, and it has been a rainy day in Delhi. For all of you living in the capital, you know it's been a rainy morning. It didn't stop people from gathering, and I think that these images, all of what happened in Delhi, in the national capital, it sums up the craze for cricket essentially, and why it matters so much to bring these trophies home.
We were listening to a few of our reporters, and while they were bringing us live reactions, heard from a few fans who've travelled all the way. The fans travelled from Jammu to Mumbai.
Exactly.
There were fans who've travelled from Lucknow, fans who've travelled from Pune. Of course, Pune not too far away, so you can drive down.
Extreme short notice too, because the final schedule came out, I think, yesterday.
Just before we were taking the flight.
And that's when we knew that, you know, there's going to be this kind of a massive show in Mumbai. So it's amazing, really.
Well, I mean, very well that it was in a short notice, but can you imagine if you had given like a week-long notice, how many people would have
I think you'd have people on boats in the sea. I think that's the only thing left if you look at these
You would have
images.
had, I can bet my bottom dollar, you would have had Indian fans travel even from the US and UK.
Have you ever done it though, Nikhil?
I have for soccer, yes.
For soccer?
I've paid good money to just go watch a match. You know, in my younger days, just saved up on money just to go see Lionel Messi play. So I just booked a ticket to go to the UK. Landed there, saw his game, took a flight back. And those days, you know, you were living off meager salaries as a bachelor.
No, whatever it takes, right?
Yes, whatever it takes.
What about you?
I was expecting
Why
you to
did
make.
you in Mumbai?
I was expecting you to make that trip to the camp now, though.
I did make a few trips to camp now, but also to watch him play in Scotland. But those are initial days of Lionel Messi. Little did I know that I'll get to see a lot of him later on.
Yeah, as you did a couple of years back.
Yes, World Cup
You
final.
chose the right career then.
Yes, I did. I couldn't have done anything else, even if I tried. So
Amazing.
The career found me rather than me finding me.
Look at these images on our screens. They're right there showing you the crowds. I think this is easily a few thousands who've gathered there along Mumbai's coast. It looks absolutely spectacular, but the numbers simply baffle me. And how many people have come? It's jam-packed. It's absolutely packed to the brim. You can see all of them chanting together, dancing. They're having a good time. And they're waiting, of course, for the bus to come through. We're expecting in the next 15-20 minutes odd, you'll see all of our champs there on board that open bus, celebrating with the trophy, showing it off to the scores of fans who've gathered there. And that right there will be the beautiful historic moment, which I'm sure the team also was waiting for, Nikhil. I'm sure they were extremely restless sitting in Barbados.
They were. In fact, the conversations that I had with a few of them, they were worried that, it's going to be a busy day. Firstly, you take a 16-hour flight. They were very anxious to begin with. Because you didn't know exactly what time could you exit out of Barbados. There was another hurricane coming, so there was a small window. You had to use that window to get out of Barbados. After that, they were a bit worried because the itinerary was told to them at the 11th hour. So it was planned that you first take a 16-hour flight, land in Delhi, busy day in Delhi, then take a flight again to Mumbai, do the open-top bus parade. Then they are expected to head back to their cities tonight after this is done. So they're a bit worried. But the one piece of advice I did give them, having seen few other teams celebrate the way this team is going to be, that once you see the crowd, you will feed off the energy of the crowd. And while they did not believe with the amount of people that we predicted would be here, it's, I think, exceeded that. But once you see the crowd cheering you on, you can see, young kids, families all come out to see you. You just feed off it, and then adrenaline just takes over. So,
are their families going to be with them for this? Because
a lot of families.
A lot of them were there, I think.
They've traveled, yes.
But for this event, all the families being brought in.
The BCCI has been kind enough to accommodate them in those chartered flights, the families, and I assume a lot of them will also be in the open top bus because
I hope so.
Yes,
because they most definitely deserve that recognition too.
Young Angad, who's been a superstar, Jasprit Bumrah's son.
For all of you who don't know, young Angad's memes have gone viral. That's Bumrah's son. Because whether the World Cup is with him, whether he's with Prime Minister Modi, whether he's with his parents and they're cheering him on, he's got a poker face on, right? He's uninterested. He doesn't care about how big an event this is. The message is clear to him. None of this is a big deal for him. He's expecting bigger things from his father, perhaps.
He is the most well-behaved 2-year-old that I've ever seen. Because on a 16-hour flight with a 2-year-old around, you're going to have a bumpy ride. But the most well-behaved 2-year-old I've seen.
So
you
no
could not hear him.
babies.
You could not hear him.
I think I know why, Nikhil. Because, when at such a young age...
Genes.
Perhaps number one.
Father.
Number two, it was that gold medal that Jasprit Bumrah that instantly that he got it. He
put it on.
He put it around his neck. So he was just happy with the gold medal. Early in life, when you get that gold medal,
or like some on social media said, can I eat or chew on the cup? I most definitely can't. So I have nothing to smile about. But yes, young Angad is someone who's gone absolutely viral right now. Those pictures are on the left of your screens because we're tracking very closely the movement of the team. They're in that bus which you see right there, moving forward, heading towards Marine Drive. I think they're close now, if I'm not wrong. They're very close now.
They are. From the point from where that open top bus parade is going to start, they are, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be another 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
They're on the ceiling now, are they?
I think they're headed towards the ceiling.
Yes. Correct. Headed towards the ceiling.
Yeah. Can we also for a second talk about that footage? And, I'm amazed by it. The fact that Hardik Pandya walked out there with so much swagger, with that cup in his hand. He's got his shades on, which is trademark Hardik also, right? Very stylish, very oozing style always. So he's got that attitude back because he kind of looked extremely emotional, kind of overwhelmed when the victory itself happened. So you didn't see the old shades of Hardik, of the swagger that you usually see.
Yes.
Today he's emerged out of the airport with all of that swagger on.
He has, but it's a sea change of the Hardik that I saw the last 2 days. In fact, in the flight, I had a couple of conversations, really calm, really composed. And when I asked him about those tough times, he just laughed it off. So it wasn't as if there was no retribution, there was no revenge, there was no that, I told you so sort of an attitude that I could gauge in my conversation with him in the flight. Really calm. The one thing, though, that really stands out in Hardik Pandya, and I think, this is where, when you see him from the outside, sometimes that swagger that you talk about, Akshata, is perceived as arrogance. And this is something that goes against him. But I tell you, this is his greatest quality as well. It is this swagger which allowed him to come from probably the lowest point in his career. From where most other players, and we've seen it in the past, the Indian cricket history is peppered with a lot of other examples of similar players who've never really recovered from such bad times. Yeah. I think it is this swagger that he has, it's this self-belief that he has, which allows him to think of himself as the best to do that particular job at that very moment.
It's great to see because I think it was exactly for this that he was trolled months ago.
Yes.
When he said exactly what you said, that he's arrogant, he's overconfident, all of the fame has gotten to his head, all of that. And today he's come back, redeemed himself essentially, proved his worth. And I think also a word has to go out for every one of his teammates who stood by him like a rock.
Yes, a word for Rohit Sharma.
Yeah.
I'm not
That's
saying
what
there
a
was
great
any.
captain does.
Yes, I'm not saying there was any friction, but because things were spoken about, he backed him. And then I think the beauty of it was the role that was assigned to Hardik Pandya. I don't think anyone's used the abilities that Hardik Pandya has better than what Rohit Sharma did. So on occasions, the same Hardik Pandya would bat at number 5 in a game, and I'm just talking about this World Cup. And on occasions, the same Hardik Pandya actually batted number 8 for India. And that's a big change of role, because batting at number 5, as anyone who follows cricket will tell you, requires a different skill set. Batting at number 8 in T20 cricket, a completely different skill set. But what Rohit Sharma realized that here I have a player who can play in different gears.
Who can do everything.
Yes, here I have a player who I can utilize based on the pitch conditions, the match conditions, and then utilize him. So that, and then secondly, this is the same Hardik Pandya who people were questioning that how can you even call him an all-rounder because he's not bowling. Injuries resulted in him in not bowling. Then when he got back to bowling, he was bowling in the IPL, wasn't getting any great results with the ball. Of course, his team not doing well as captain was the other thing that may have contributed. Now you had a situation where the same captain, Rohit Sharma, trusted him as being the third fast bowler. So most teams were playing with 3 regular fast bowlers. India were playing with only 2, because Rohit had this faith in Hardik, saying, no, he's an all-rounder, all right, but for me, he can be a regular third fast bowler. And he did bowl in those crucial situations. We are talking about the Surya Kumar Yadav catch, and as beautiful as it looked, as television friendly as that moment was, I think the turning point, and I have no doubts, was Hardik Pandya's wicket of Henrik Klaasen. Henrik Klaasen, if he wasn't out on that over, that delivery of Hardik Pandya, South Africa would have won that final with 10 balls to spare. Easily with 10 balls to spare. Even though you had a few Jasprit Bumrah overs left. I think, and that wicket didn't come by chance. You see that delivery again, and I've seen multiple replays of that. That's a smart delivery of a cutter that he bowls outside the off stump, knowing fully well, here's a man in form. I need to play with his ego. If I keep bowling him, trying to bowl good deliveries, he's going to whack me. I have to play with his ego and bowl a delivery, a innocuous looking delivery, which he thinks is going to smash it, because that's my best chance to get him, and he gets him. So brilliant from Hardik Pandya. I think he's one of the stories. No doubt that Jasprit Bumrah is your man of the tournament. No arguments with that. But if you were to ask me to pick an MVP, I think it's going to be a tie between Akshar Patel and Hardik Pandya.
Interesting. But also there'll be a lot of questions now, because, there are some men we're all watching out for, because it's also giving us a lot of emotions, I'm sure, because of Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Ravindra Jadeja, not 3-4, Rahul Dravid. So you have a lot of emotions running through you, when you see these 3 faces on our screens, because you're like, what next for T20 internationals? Who's going to be the next captain? How are you going to fill these gaping holes?
I don't think you have anything to worry, Akshata, if you're a fan of Indian cricket. And I think the part of it, even though it's not really been spelled out, the part of the reason that some of these players have decided to hang up their boots is precisely the fact that they see the next gen is ready. So look at this Indian team that played at this World Cup. You had a Yashasvi Jaiswal, who many thought, we had Rajdeep with us a short while ago, where he said that I didn't think that Virat should have been part of the team. Correct. Why? Because you had a Yashasvi Jaiswal who was batting the way he was. He was setting the stage on fire. He was, throwing caution to the wind, batting aggressively, the way T20 cricket is being played. And when you started this tournament, that youngster is sitting on the bench. And an Indian fan is thinking, listen, we have a man in form, why is he not playing? I think one of the best T20 batters in India right now wasn't even part of the squad.
We have a problem of plenty?
Yes, you went in with him as an extra, not even part of the squad, and that's Rinku Singh. Rinku Singh for the last 2-3 years has been the most impactful batter in T20 cricket. If I combine T20 internationals and IPL, which is the same format, the most impactful batter. But this Indian team could not fit him. He travelled with the team, but as a reserve, just in case somebody gets injured and he comes in. He doesn't get a chance to play. So I think the decision that, let's say, Virat Kohli took when he comes out and makes that announcement, he made it very clear he had thought about it. And I think the part of the reason was that when he saw these players, see, you have to remember, while this is Rohit Sharma's team, this is also partly Virat Kohli's team. Because 2 years ago, he was captain, and a lot of players that are playing right now made their debut under Virat Kohli's captaincy. So I'm sure he looks at this team not just as a member of the team, but also as this is my team. I created a lot of this structure of this team. So when he sees that, okay, now is a time that this structure can change, things can move on, there are these 4 players that can come in and this team won't miss me, that's, I think, contributed in him taking that call that I'll step aside. Rohit, on the other hand, a completely different take. He actually came out and said that I hadn't planned to quit, but now that we've won, I think it's the perfect moment. So he thought that no better place to go.
Yes. But the reason I ask this question is, for someone who doesn't follow active cricket, I'm talking about absolute legends, cricket superstars. It doesn't get bigger than a Jadeja, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli. They're household names right now. So you wonder, when 3 of them, 3 of perhaps most impactful Indian cricketers step out at the same time, what happens then? That's where my question really stems from, because these are three legends all bowing out at the same time.
So that's really interesting, Akshata. If one is the fact that do you have reserves which are good enough to fill their spot, which I alluded to a short while ago, that you do. But the other point, which is very interesting, is that these are superstars based on whom Indian cricket runs. Like, people pay good money, bums
To
on the
watch
seat.
them, yeah.
Correct. Because they are playing. But I think why the timing and why, again, now I go to a Rohit Sharma, why he may have decided. Because even in terms of stars that you need to see or stars that you need to create, this win was needed. Assuming this call was taken as, I mean, worst case scenario, India end up losing that final. And then you have three stalwarts leaving the game. Then, as a stakeholder of Indian cricket, you would be worried, saying, okay, now do we have the next stars? We may have the talent, but are there stars enough to bring bums on the seat? Are there stars enough to have people interested in every match that India plays? Probably the answer to that would have been a no. Now that you've won, each member of that team is going to be a star. You're going to remember a Shivam Dubey now. You're going to remember an Akshar Patel now.
Yeah.
Of course, Jasprit Bumrah has already emerged as a superstar. And then, your youngsters in Rishabh Pant making that kind of comeback. So I think now each of them is a World Cup winner. Each of them is a star. So now while these three stalwarts of the sport move out, that star factor also remains, and the cricketing factor, which I alluded to earlier, in terms of talent, also remains. So it's a perfect win-win situation, perfect time for these players to have moved on.
Interesting. It's good to have a problem of plenty. We've always felt that. So it's good that the team has that. Those are images on your screens right now of the huge crowds that have gathered. We're just standing by. We're expecting any time now the Indian team will arrive there. I really question how the bus will be able to move through that crowd, because it's packed to the brim, as you can see there. There are thousands of people who've gathered, rain withstanding. They've not allowed rain to be a dampener. Like our reporter Mustafa said earlier, he said rain can stop a game of cricket. It most definitely can't stop these crazy fans from continuing to gather and show their excitement, their energy, their euphoria over what's played out a few days ago in Barbados. So this is our way of course, thanking our world champs, thanking everything that they've done for us and giving us that beautiful Saturday night, which I think none of us will forget any time now. It was a day that we all, of course, celebrated and enjoyed, thanks to all of these men. Very fittingly, they're all wearing jerseys that says India Champions. They wore this also when they met with Prime Minister Modi earlier today in Delhi. They're wearing that too in the footage that we're seeing of them emerging from the Mumbai airport. And they've already boarded the bus, so I suspect that the jerseys of India Champions will stay on as they board the bus, the open bus that you see on the middle of your screens. It's going to make its way very, very slowly through the 1 kilometer or so stretch where this road show, which largely you reserve for political parties, is now playing out for the Indian cricket team. And truly, truly a fitting comeback for them, a fitting homecoming. So beautiful celebration in all that you're seeing. Nothing really unites the country like cricket. And what you're seeing right now on your screens is yet another testament of that. There's been a lot of talk also, Nikhil, about the BCCI and how the BCCI has actively supported this team, ensured that this win was possible. What do you think?
I think, and that's a valid point. BCCI faces a lot of criticism, and they've been at the receiving end, even from us journalists on a lot of occasions. But credit where credit is due. It takes me back to a few months before the Indian team actually embarked on this journey of the World Cup. You had the BCCI secretary in Jay Shah come out and announce and say it in as many words that under the leadership of Rohit Sharma, India is going to win a World Cup. Now this is a tricky situation to be in. You are raising the hopes of the fan, and imagine if it does not go the way that you want it to, the kind of trolling or the kind of reaction you would receive from the fans. So firstly, for the BCCI to say that. Secondly, while the entire world wanted these two stalwarts in Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli out, after you failed to win the 2022 T20 World Cup, after you failed to win the 2023 50-over World Cup, the BCCI still kept faith in it. The BCCI convinced Rahul Dravid to extend that tenure for 6 months. The BCCI had the courage to appoint somebody like an Ajit Agarkar as the selector and gave him the free hands to take the tough call. There were two Indian cricketers that probably would have been part of this squad in Ishan Kishan and Shreyas Iyer. But they were regular members of this T20 squad. But because of disciplinary issues, they were not playing domestic cricket. The Indian team decided to drop true 2 regular members of this T20 squad. At that time, it seemed like a harsh decision, but see the kind of messaging that they went out. And listen, if you are serious enough, if you want to be world champions, you have to be committed all the time. You can't pick and choose your tournaments.
A no-nonsense approach, essentially. Very
Exactly.
clear.
So credit to the BCCI to allow a chairman of selector to take that call. So I think there were a lot of little things that went behind the scenes, apart from the fact, of course, they organized the chartered flight and brought us back here.
And now
which is
I've
a minor
announced a
detail.
125 crore cash prize for the team.
Can you imagine? Let me take you back. See,
I can't even imagine that in numbers. Honestly, I don't know how many zeros that means, Nikhil.
you know, I'll take you back, Akshita. I was just speaking about that. See the level that Indian cricket has reached. Rajdeep was here talking about the 83 World Cup. I wrote a book on the 83 World Cup. Do you know how much money the 83 World Cup winners were paid? And I'm not even going back to 60s and 70s.
I don't know
right?
if I should harbour a guess here.
So BCCI at that time had no money to pay them. And so they said, we can give you 1 lakh combined 1 lakh rupees to be shared amongst every member. So they would have essentially got 10-20,000, which now would amount to 6-7 crores that each member is going to get, close to 10 crore. It would have been about 10,000 that each member was got. Do you know how they raise funds? Lata Mangeshkar was kind enough to say, okay, I'll do a concert.
I remember this, yeah.
A concert happened in New Delhi at the Indira Gandhi Stadium. The money that was raised through that concert was then given to the cricketers as prize money. 83, you're sitting now, 30 plus years later, and 125 crores. 30 years is a minuscule amount in terms of the journey of Indian cricket, which is over 100 years old.
Amazing.
And in that much time, see the distance that it's
The
covered.
journey through a cash prize, if you
Yes.
can, from 1983
And you know,
to
for
now.
anyone who would want to criticize this, I'd want to say, you know, they deserve every penny, because the kind of money that is coming into the Indian cricket is on the back of these cricketers, back of these
very
performances.
true.
I always tell people that we all aspire, in whichever field that we all aspire to earn more money. And there's no harm in a cricketer doing that. Of course. If they are bringing in that kind of money, where, you know, television rights are now being sold at 46,000 crore for a 5-year period, that's
125
insane
is
amount
nothing.
of.
I was just going to come to that. You know, you were talking about a 30-year period of how, you know, things have just changed. The cricketing landscape has changed. Look at something as nascent as the IPL. I'm calling it nascent because when you're comparing the IPL with the NFL, the EPL, and some of the other competitions that have lasted for much longer than the IPL, look at the growth that the IPL's done, because in a space of 16 years, you've seen record sales as far as the broadcast rights are concerned. 46,000 crores spread across television and digital. That's fourth, I think, overall on the list.
Yeah, on the final, when I was watching, you know, it shows the number of people tuning in live. And I think it was upward of 6 crores. But look at that video on the left of your screens. That's a video posted by Surya Kumar Yadav from inside the bus. He's, of course, with the entire team, but he's showing the crowds that have gathered there. I think they're amazed. They must be overwhelmed, must be wowed by the support, the love that's pouring out for them in Delhi and now in Mumbai. And clearly, with that picture and that video that he's posted, which he shot on his phone, showing everyone, the crowds there going crazy, he's enjoying it. He's soaking it all in, I'm sure.
Nikhil, he's been rather active over the last few days on Instagram, hasn't he?
He has been. In fact, I spoke to him in that interview, and he said that he hasn't been checking much. But then they had about 3 days
Of nothing to do.
of relaxation in the hotel. I think that's where he upped his social media game. The one other thing that I can make out from this video that he sent, that he's got the VIP seat, which has got the front
Which is
seat.
right in front?
Right in the front. And that's a very tough seat to get in the Indian cricket team, because everyone, that was a seat, it takes me back in time to when Sachin Tendulkar was playing. That seat used to be reserved for him. You'd walk in and nobody dares sit on that seat because Sachin would sit on it. Now you have on occasions Virat sitting on that front seat. But that's a hot seat. So luckily for Sky, he's got that.
I think at the airport, when I saw them boarding, I think I saw Hardik getting in there, sitting in the front with the cup.
So-
but I think maybe they're switching over
There's
now.
Jadeja as well.
two,
So
right?
in Delhi, Jadeja was sitting right in front because he's the only one wearing a hat. So that was easy for one to
And so is
spot.
Rishabh. Wearing that
I think essentially they're taking turns now.
Correct.
They're kind of relishing what's happening, relishing the attention, because obviously the cameras are focused on who's sitting right in front of the bus. So right now we know it's Surya Kumar Yadav. He's got a great view of the crowds that have gathered, and why shouldn't he? He needs to bask in all of this glory, enjoy it. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You know, for him, that catch is something no one's going to forget. So it's his crowning moment right there.
You know what stayed with me in that interview when I spoke to him about the catch? He says that I actually saw, I'll just get to that and we can see pictures now.
This is posted by Rishabh Pant on the left. So
yeah,
I think they're all now taking turns to go up there. He's not seated in the VIP. I can see the curtain there.
And also, I think Surya Kumar Yadav has a better internet connection than Rishabh. That's also
This one's a bit
in terms of the
Very
pixelated
pixelated, I agree. But
choppy,
look at the love. I mean, it's so amazing to see. You can see all of those people waving at them. Some people running along with the bus, running along with the convoy. They haven't reached Marine Drive yet. So these are pictures from them all the way from the airport to Marine Drive. So the entire stretch, and I suspect Mumbai has come to an absolute standstill today. The full stretch packed to the brim with crowds there. Rishabh Pant has posted this video on the extreme left. He's also got his camera angles all wrong because he's shooting his foot right in between through the video. But you can see the crowds there gathered all along the stretch, and what a sight it is. We've been deploying our reporters through the entire stretch to give you a sense of the excitement. And there you have Rishabh Pant showing how excited he is, nodding in disbelief at the crowds that have gathered there. For Rishabh Pant, this is a comeback, a fight back like never before. He's made it back. He's performed well for the team. He's enjoying this moment. You can see it in the video that is posted now on Instagram. That's a video where he's showing off the crowds, showing all of them, and then turns the camera to himself to, nod in complete disbelief that this is actually happening. I'm sure there's a pinch me moment for all of them.
It actually takes me back, Akshita, to another similar moment that happened when the team arrived at the Delhi airport. If you go back and see that video, you see Virat Kohli get inside the bus. He's got that VIP seat that I tell you right in the front. And you can see that surprise on his look. He looks at the crowd. He has no idea. He's just gotten in the bus. But when he actually first glimpse of the crowd he sees at the airport, he looks at it and you can clearly make out that he's screaming inside the bus, telling everyone, hey guys, just look at the crowd.
But
can you
that's
see
amazing,
the number of
because
people
someone like a Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, you think they're used to it. Look, I understand Surya Kumar Yadav, Rishabh Pant being excited.
This is new.
Yeah, I mean, so for Virat, first time an open-top bus parade that he'll be part of. He was part of that 2011 World Cup winning squad, but they did not have this ceremony. And they were playing in India at that time. They went to their hotel and didn't have anything like this. The other thing, which a few players asked me, that, what do you think is going to happen in India? That, will there be this sort of reception that we'll get? Because it's been 3-4 days since we won the World Cup. Will the euphoria really come down? And I said, I can't see that euphoria coming down. One thing that I did guarantee them, I said, I don't know how many fans will turn up, but I can guarantee you there'll be at least anywhere between 50 to 100 television cameras for sure, because the media certainly is going to be there.
You can count on us.
Yes, I did tell them that. And I said that, because I could gauge from the social media reaction, as soon as I put out a tweet saying what time they're landing, I did see a lot of, fans reply to me and ask me as to, sir, what terminal and that. So I knew that there would be a crowd, maybe not a sizable crowd, but a crowd that will turn in. I think somewhere that delay of the flight also worked in our favor from the media, because you get to see, good visuals. Had they landed at 3 a.m., maybe crowds would have been less. Maybe we wouldn't have got those.
I suspect not though, Nikhil.
But we
looking
wouldn't
at
have
this
got
place,
those.
I mean, looking at this, I really don't think anything could have affected them.
And
Time,
earlier,
rain, whatever it took.
The earlier time was 1 o'clock. So you were just trying to constantly think as to what the reaction of the crowd would be like. But I sort of agree with Akshita that given at hand the visuals that we see playing out both in Delhi and now in Mumbai, I don't quite see that there would have been a huge deviation from what we are seeing right now.
What you may not have seen is those Bhangra moves. Because Bhangra moves at 3 a.m. would have been tough. Early morning, fresh with their coffee that they'd all had in the flight. You got to see those Bhangra moves from a Rohit Sharma, from a Surya Kumar Yadav. We saw, of course, Virat's famous Bhangra at the ground.
There's definitely something in the coffee that was served to all of you. Not only have they been in action, so have been you.
It's been a long day for everyone. I think it's been a long day for the team, for Nikhil, who's also come directly from the airport to the studio, for the team, of course, from Delhi. They've met with the Prime Minister. They've taken a flight. They're now in Mumbai. They're there ready for their victory lap through the streets of Mumbai. And I think they're as pumped as can be. That's clear, really, in the footage that we're seeing of all of them, whether it's Hardik there with that fist pump in the air with a trophy in his hand. The first image of him as he walked out of the Mumbai airport. And there's clearly loaded symbolism in that. If was very, very intentional. That's very clear. That the team said, look, this is your moment. You keep the cup. You walk out with the cup. So that's exactly what he did, and really held it high up in the air, walked out with all of his swagger. And as at this point, we get you all this footage. Look, there are a lot of tributes that are pouring in. And some of these are truly remarkable tributes. What we're playing out of the extreme left of our screens is A.R. Rahman's tribute to the men in blue. Let's just play that out for you a bit. Enjoy this.
जान ले लो आज हमारे फिर दिखेंगे कल से तो जमान से कि डर भी डरता हमसे हर कदम हम आगे बढ़ते गिरते पड़ते फिर भी लड़ते हर कदम हम आगे बढ़ते गिरते पड़ते फिर भी लड़ते आजा आजमा ले तू किसमें कितना है जोर टीम इंडिया है हम 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 टीम इंडिया है हम
Okay, beautiful tribute there from A.R. Rahman. I think his songs always pretty much sum up the emotion of the moment. In this case, it's euphoria, which I think he's tried to highlight also with this song now that's been put out. Fitting tribute really for the men in blue.
I think it's a contender for anthem for the Indian cricket team because Akshata, I must tell you, having travelled to all grounds, watching the Indian team for the last few years, the one song that you always end up hearing is Chak De India. As much as I love the song, but I think you need a new one. Maybe this is a contender. Lehra Do, yeah.
That's been the theme, I think. That's been the most played out song this time around.
Let's see if it's actually a contender. Let's listen into that song and see if it's a contender.
ले लो आज हमारे फिर दिखेंगे कल से बोल दो ज़मान से कि डर भी डरता हमसे हर कदम हम आगे बढ़ते गिरते पड़ते फिर भी लड़ते हर कदम हम आगे बढ़ते गिरते पड़ते फिर भी लड़ते आजा आजमा ले तू किसमें कितना है जोर टीम इंडिया है हम 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 आज हमारे फिर दिखेंगे कल से बोल दो ज़मान से कि डर भी डरता हमसे हर कदम हम आगे बढ़ते गिरते पड़ते फिर भी लड़ते हर कदम हम आगे बढ़ते गिरते पड़ते फिर भी लड़ते आजा आजमा ले तू किसमें कितना है जोर टीम इंडिया है हम 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 से पहले
I have a feeling that we're all going to be humming along to the tunes of A.R. Rahman's song for the next.
Can you hear the chants at the Wankhede Stadium?
That's inside, right?
Yes, and the song is Chak De India.
Wow, yeah, they're all singing in unison. Amazing.
Is the same song that they sang to in 2011?
Every stadium, yes, they did. But the moment actually in 2011 was when they sang Vande Mataram. And no, actually they played Vande Mataram, A.R. Rahman's Vande Mataram. And MS Dhoni has gone on to say that that's the time, and this is when India needed 20 odd runs, that he got goosebumps while batting.
Wow.
And they heard that.
And let's play out today what's happening at the Wankhede Stadium.
Okay, you also see on your screens pictures of the Indian team. This is from a while back when they were getting out of the Mumbai airport. And for those of you just joining our broadcast, here's a reminder that the open bus parade is not starting from the airport. They're actually traveling to a point in Marine Drive, and then they'll take another 2-kilometer long journey from that point to the Wankhede Stadium on Marine Drive. And then there will be the ceremony of which you're seeing visuals right now on the left of your screens. There's a stage that is being created in the center of the pitch, and it is a jam-packed Wankhede Stadium. Free entry for everyone, but it was on a first-come, first basis, and the seats filled up in a matter of minutes.
As soon as the gates... Queues. I think for hours people stood there. And imagine this, Nikhil, you usually see these crowds for a cricket match. There's no match. It must be a felicitation ceremony that lasts just about 30 minutes, for which people have been there from 1 in the afternoon. So they're waiting a whole 9 hours for this event.
And for which people have travelled from different parts of the country.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. At the airport here, when we got out of the airport, fans who had turned up to watch the Indian team, after that asked us at what time is the ceremony, and actually were booking tickets on their phone from the Delhi airport to get to Mumbai so that they could see it. I'm sure some of them did travel. Yes, I'm sure they traveled there.
Imagine that. You know, Nikhil, just giving you a glimpse of the craze that's led to the crowds right now there in the heart of Mumbai. And you can see that all of them are patiently waiting. You know, this was an event. The victory lap was supposed to start at 5. It's now beyond 7. It's 7:30. You don't see the crowds moving. None of them are saying, you know, we're fed up, we're going home. If anything, they're possibly using it as an opportunity for more people to come along to wait there.
And no better city to do that. A city that never sleeps in Mumbai.
Yeah.
Again, takes me back to 2011 World Cup final. The game finished around 11:30 at night. And I was narrating that story earlier, that we had a situation, I remember Marine Drive that day, throughout the time that the match happened, it felt like it was Bharat Bandh. You could go to Marine Drive and play a game of cricket because there was not a single car that was plying on that road for a period of 6-7 hours, because either they were in the stadium or in their homes watching the match. As soon as the game got over, you had similar scenes there, and that lasted till 3 a.m. So if you really think that the crowds will go away, Akshata, because this has been delayed, you have another thing coming, because the Mumbai crowd is going to be there no matter what time the bus comes, no matter what time the function starts.
I don't know how the bus is going to move through that crowd. Let's find out from Dev Kotak, shall we? He's on ground, getting us a sense of the energy there, the kind of crowds that have gathered. Dev, it's been a long wait for you. It's been a long wait for the fans gathered there, but the Josh is still high, yes?
Well, absolutely. High is an understatement. The people are brimming with a lot of joy. The atmosphere is electric. The bus is already on its way. The police has also been trying to clear out the crowds and ensure safe passage and movement. And behind me, you can hear the hooting and the shrieking. The bus is believed to have reached near the Wankhede Stadium. It is coming towards the open bus, but it is being stalled because of the sheer number of people and the police presence. The police is also conducting a route march to ensure that also people are out here on the streets bringing replicas of the World Cup, which the Indian team won against South Africa, clearing everyone on the road, anticipating. People have been waiting here for 6 hours, but yet not a sign of fatigue or weariness. But the people are out here waving the Indian tricolor, and they are out there on the road. Definitely more than 1 lakh people have arrived here, and definitely the police, it is a very challenging task for them, but they are doing a good job in keeping the crowds clear and ensuring safe movement and passage for the team bus and the Indian cricketers, along with the domestic support staff as well that is traveling with them. So in few minutes from now, we will be able to witness the Indian cricket team parading down the Marine Drive Promenade and the stretch, the 1 kilometer stretch, all the way to D Road of Marine Drive inside the Wankhede Stadium, where more than 20,000 fans are also eagerly and anxiously awaiting their team's arrival to give them a rousing welcome and an applaud after having won. After having won, and this victory comes in the wake of having last won in 2007.
The information we're getting, Dave, just stay with me. The information we're getting is that the bus has reached Nariman Point. The roadshow will start now from that point. So any moment now, you will get those images on your screens of them on board, of the entire team on board that open bus and driving through the streets of Mumbai, hailing and of course enjoying the sights and sounds of the fans who've gathered there in large numbers. The sun is set. Mumbai is beautifully lit up right now. You can hear the cheers. I think the bus has reached, and I think they've started moving closer and closer now. There are images on your screens, on the left of your screens, that's live from Mumbai, from Marine Drive. You can see right now that the crowd is pumped. They're full of energy, waiting to catch just a fleeting glimpse of their World Cup heroes, just a fleeting glimpse of the trophy, and yet they waited hours for that moment. I think nothing sums up the craze for cricket as much as this one. So on your screens there, you can see far off the bus moving closer and closer and fully lit up. The crowd's going absolutely crazy. All of them have got their flags, the tricolour up in the air. The bus, as expected, moving extremely slowly through that crowd. I think this is a 1 kilometer roadshow that's going to last at least 60 minutes.
Yes, most likely. Usually, I've taken that route multiple times. Usually it's just a 10-minute drive, but you're right today, Akshita. But I believe Mumbai police are really going to step it up now and ensure that there's a clear passage for the bus. Because at this rate, you will really have to have the function, in the wee hours in the morning, probably it will continue till. I think they'll need to hurry up. It takes me back to 2007. I was there. We had a similar parade when MS Dhoni's team won that tournament. But on that occasion, the open bus ride was from the airport to the ground. But that was done in about a couple of hours because there were barricades that had been put, but also that had been planned well in advance, unlike what has been done now. But kudos to the authorities to have ensured that at least you've had a situation where, the team bus has been arranged, where fans have turned up and they'll be going. And it's the first time, Akshata, we're now finally getting to see players on top of the bus, because up until now, we did see the organizers trying to be on top of the bus, see if everything is all right or not. I can see players dressed, for those of you who don't know, dressed in a brand new jersey. This is looking like the jersey that they were wearing while they were playing the final, but it's not. It's actually a jersey with a special message there which says champions. So this is a jersey that was created right after they won that final. So it says champions written on it, and it is also the jersey for the very first time that will carry 2 stars in it, 2 stars of 2 T20 World Cups. There are only 2 other countries that can flaunt 2 stars on their jersey, and that is the West Indies and England, who have won it twice, the T20 World Cup. India now the 3rd country to win 2 T20 World Cups. But I'd say make it 4 stars. Combine the 50 over World Cup also. We won one in 83, we won one in 2011, 4 World Cups, make it a 4-star jersey. Petition. We could start a petition for that.
Of course, we'll all sign it very happily. I'm sure everyone there will sign it too. But I think that along with the new jerseys, all of them are draped in the tricolour. Absolutely beautiful to see. You can see all of the players there have a tricolour wrapped around their shoulders, and you can hear the voices picking up because the bus is coming closer and closer. It's dark now in Mumbai, but I think it's lit up by all of this festivity and cheer all around. I see someone there holding up the trophy. It's a bit too far off for us to make out exactly who it is, but right up front.
I think, Akshita, that is still Hardik Pandya. He's
That's
not
still
letting go
Hardik.
of that trophy.
Well,
He's not letting go.
I think fittingly in Mumbai, he says, this is my city. I have to send them a message. Here you go.
Yeah.
So he's right up front. If it is him, then, it's a clear message that he's sending across that he wants to relish, savor every second of this celebration in Mumbai.
I think what
He wasn't front and center in Delhi.
he was not. He was not. It was actually Rohit who came out.
Yeah.
But I think what they're going to do, and as is the norm, as we've seen, not just with cricketing teams, but also other football teams in the past, they try and rotate it. So you have different players holding it for different times.
That's great. Yeah.
Yes. So we'll
great.
see whose turn it is now.
I
and
think
they'll
you're
keep
right. I
changing
think it is Hardik right now in front who's holding it,
Yes.
showing it off.
with his sunglasses.
That's what gave him away. That's what gave him away for me. It was the sunglasses. But he's showing it off. He's holding the trophy up front. He's showing it off to all of the crowds. And you can see all of them standing up front, waving to all the people who've gathered. The bus is expected moving very, very slowly, but I think it also gives a chance for all of these fans who've been waiting for the last many, many hours to catch a glimpse of their heroes, to maybe pass on a message or two of congratulations. And I remember a young girl there wanted to said that I hope I get a chance to apologize to Hardik for trolling him earlier.
That's what I can see a banner there, Akshita. I don't know if you know.
Yeah,
I
right
know,
on the right there.
I can see an image there, and it most likely is of Hardik Pandya. What I would love for, I know it's really tough now to zoom in, and probably they need to turn it around. It's got an image of Hardik Pandya. I would like to see what message there is. And if there is a message, he's definitely going to be looking at it, because it's a big enough, that banner. And whether there's an apology on that banner from the Mumbai crowd that were booing him throughout the duration of the IPL. You can see confetti also going up in the air. So, I mean, you've got the whole fireworks, the whole...
And imagine this, these are fans who are doing it on their own, completely organically done by them, organized by them. This isn't some grand preparation. These are fans who have brought all of the confetti and accessories to ensure this is a grand celebration. And you can hear the music. It's kicked off.
Yes.
So, it's a
This
beautiful
time it's A.R.
celebration.
Rahman.
Exactly. It's a beautiful celebration. I'm guessing Rahman will be hoping it's replaced by the song that he's now put out for our World Cup heroes. But as we, in fact, get you all of these images, you can see, as you pointed out, Nikhil, that the trophy is now being moved across to every single player out there. I saw Hardik grabbing it back briefly to show it up front, but I think it's moving around now. Every player getting a chance to hold it up.
I think he'll allow everyone to hold it by rotation, but once you enter Wankhede, I'm sure he'll be the one who will carry it entering Wankhede, and then he may again allow
Take a
everyone.
bet on that. We'll take a bet on that. Because I suspect it could be Mumbai boy Rohit Sharma.
Yes.
Because you see the craze in Mumbai. Many of the fans were saying, our boy did this. Our boy Rohit Sharma ensured this.
Borivali
He
boy.
is a quintessential Mumbai boy who comes from the suburbs, comes from Borivali, played all his cricket there. Talking about Rohit Sharma, the other phrase that became really popular with him was garden mein ghumne wale ladke. And so we heard it from a lot of people saying, we're so happy that garden mein ghumne wale ladke have won it. And that is Rohit Sharma's dry humor. That typical Mumbai dry humor that he comes with. We saw a version of Rohit Sharma, this suburban boy coming from very humble backgrounds. The other joke that was going around on social media, that let's hope he doesn't forget the trophy back in his hotel room, because he has a habit of forgetting things. The legend has it that when he was to play his first Ranji match, imagine you're playing your first Ranji Trophy match, he takes a local train from Borivali to reach Wankhede, which is really far, gets inside there, and guess what? He's not carried his kit bag, his cricket bag, pads, nothing. And that's the first thing that you'll carry if you're a cricketer.
Can I just add to that? Because today as well, when the team was to depart from Delhi, similar jokes started to resurface. Why? Because he didn't join the Indian team. He wasn't on the team bus that had left from the Prime Minister's residence. He had another vehicle that took him down to the airport later on. So he wasn't traveling with the Indian team then. And that's what fans started to question again, that has he forgotten that he's got to go to Mumbai?
Somehow that strikes me as a very typical Mumbaiker attitude. It's typical Mumbaiker.
Bindas.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what it is. And Rohit Sharma, I think, kind of encapsulates that, is the epitome of that. We've got these images now on our screens of all of the boys enjoying this moment. You can see many of them, and it's nice to see all of them interacting so actively with the crowd. You know, at the back of the bus there, again, it's difficult to recognize who's who because it's dark, but you can see many of them leaning forward, waving to the crowds, talking to them. They're soaking it all in, and I think what's great to see is that they're ensuring this is a moment that they remember forever.
I can't help but, remember the contrast of what happened with Australia. They won the 2023 World Cup.
Oh, yes.
Pat Cummins was captured when he reached home, was captured at Sydney airport, holding that trophy, walking out alone, and then getting an Uber ride to go back.
And it was like they were just...
In fact, there is in fact, Nikhil, the picture you mentioned, there is one such image that's doing the rounds on social media where there is just one, there is only a solitary young Australian cricket fan who manages to find Pat Cummins at the airport. No one to give Pat Cummins any attention, and just the one selfie that Pat Cummins stops for. In comparison over here, bucket loads of fans over.
I can't imagine it. Yeah, I can't imagine
That's the stark contrast.
One thing we have to say is also that the security forces both in Delhi and Mumbai have done an absolutely amazing, incredible job of controlling the crowds, because just look at the sea of fans out there. And to manage this crowd and ensure that the team has been able to move around so freely is amazing. You can see many of them. I see many of the team members there. Many of them have their phones out. They've got videos going non-stop. I'm sure trying to record this. You've got one of them also bowing down to the crowd.
Memories of a
I wish I could identify each one of them, but it's so far away that we're kind of struggling to see who's who here.
I think the one holding the trophy right now is either Kuldeep Yadav or Yuzi Chahal. It's one of them.
I think this is as close as we can get.
Okay, no, now I believe it's the BCCI secretary in Jay Shah.
Oh, he's up front.
Yes, that's correct.
So he's on the bus
now
as well.
That's Arshdeep Singh.
There you go, yeah.
There
you go, yeah. They all got their fists up in the air, which is nice. Bumrah's also there up front. I think he's next to hold the cup. I think each of them is getting a chance to hold it, do their own style of, celebration, their own style of their victory lap as they'd like it. Create that photo op moment.
Nikhil, very quickly, since you, and now it's public knowledge that you got hold of the trophy as well. How much does it weigh?
Not too heavy. At least I didn't feel it to be too heavy. But I guess that was probably, after that weight of expectations was off the Indian team.
Because the 50 over World Cup trophy is a rather heavy one.
I have another anecdote from when I write the book. That picture that I took with the trophy was clicked by none other than Hardik Pandya. I think that would. Wow. I wish I could have taken a picture of him clicking that picture. Unfortunately, I don't have that.
We're taking away all of your anecdotes for your book and putting it out here on India Today right now. So Rajiv Shukla is also on there. We're getting a clearer view now, Nikhil. We're getting a clearer view.
That's Siraj, I believe.
Can we just up the audio? Can we up the audio from this crowd?
Shivam Dubey.
That's good to see.
All angles covered quite literally.
Yeah, we put out more angles here on India Today because we've got a number of our reporters covering that entire stretch to get you the best view of this team as they're celebrating. And look at them interacting with the crowd. They're pumping them on, they're egging them on, saying, come on, chant louder, shout harder. All of them holding up the trophy in the air. This isn't a team that's tired, Nikhil. They're not tired.
It's definitely not. And as I said, you feed off the crowds. You feed off this energy of the people that have turned up. Adrenaline is going to carry all of them through. And I think the one common theme that I saw with every member of this team, and even during my interaction with them after they had won, was that they're not treating it as a victory for these 15 members. They fully well realize that this is a World Cup for the entire nation. And you can clearly see that in the celebration. It's as if they're telling everyone that this is your trophy. If they could manage it, probably would want to hand over to every fan that there is. But because logistically that's not possible. But I think those are the gestures, those are the emotions that are coming out of the players, where they are seemingly telling everyone there that this is your World Cup. You are world champions. Every one of you who's turned up is a world champion by extension of what we've done on the cricket field. Lovely to see the tricolour. A lot of them are carrying that, and for all of them, it's It's the first time they're experiencing this. The only other one for whom it's the second time is the captain in Rohit Sharma, because he was part of that 2007 T20 World Cup team.
So he's done this before.
He's done this before, but he was a youngster. In fact, he was asked about that World Cup. He said, listen, I was a young kid, didn't play all the games. I've played a game or two here and there. Different role. I was batting lower down the order. Now I'm the captain, opener, marshalling my troops. Completely different experience. But yeah, he's the only one who's experienced in open bus ride.
And it's special what him and Virat Kohli would be experiencing right now. Of course, very special that they both get to call off their T20I career together. But look at it this way, the only success prior to this that they've together enjoyed, or the first trophy that they enjoyed, 2011 for Virat, that was his first major trophy. For Rohit Sharma, he was just a couple of T20 years old. Same for Virat Kohli, didn't have a lot of experience. Now, we heard it from Virat Kohli on record say that, as a youngster in that team, he didn't realize what that World Cup meant, because it didn't occur to him what it was to see a Yuvraj Singh, a Harbhajan Singh, a Sachin Tendulkar, a Zaheer Khan, all of them cry. He couldn't gauge as to what it meant to all of these players. Now, and similar for Rohit Sharma as well. There were other, senior players around him. He was still very young. And now, 17 years, Rohit would say, it was perhaps it came too soon, but silverware doesn't come that easy.
Very true. I can't help it, but my eyes keep going to Hardik Pandya there, who's right in the middle. I think enjoying all of the attention, enjoying this moment. He's got the tricolour on him, he's got his phone out, and he's non-stop. There you go. He's got non-stop interacting with the crowds there. Next to him is Virat Kohli, slightly more sober, standing behind, watching the crowds. But I think it's the youngsters who are kind of fueling all of the, fun here, fueling all of the crowds there.
Do you remember, Nikhil, the last time we saw the Indian team win any kind of silverware back in 2013? It was at the Oval, if memory serves me right. And there was a young Virat Kohli there jumping around. You remember he did those push-ups as well right in front of the celebration board. And it's interesting that that particular visual, after the match got over, started to, in fact, on the eve of the match, eve of the final, it began going viral on social media. People were expecting that kind of Virat Kohli. But that side of Virat Kohli perhaps has tapered now. A much maturer version of Virat Kohli now.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we still see it on field. Off field, he may have become quieter.
Yes. But even on field, relatively
quieter.
That should be the key word.
Much quieter. He's
Daddy
a
boys.
daddy now. He's a daddy now, and I guess
Daddy of two.
But his family isn't there, are they? They're not there.
No, they're
on
not
the bus.
there.
I don't think any of the families actually are on the bus right now.
Possible that some family members may be in the
Maybe
second
behind
tier.
in the vehicles behind.
Yeah, or on the lower tier of the bus.
So there's a possibility maybe of the families joining them at Wankhede Stadium, maybe
Yes.
for the felicitation ceremony. This look is a big event. And with the families also coming in, it would have meant more buses. It would have meant more preparation. So I think that's why they have decided to keep it to the team. A few members of the BCCI, Jay Shah is there, Rajiv Shukla is there. They're all up front there. And you can see them also in the jerseys. Siraj is there, but like I said, the most pumped person on top of that bus is Hardik. You can still see him there.
He's egging the fans
And he's
on.
right in front. He may not have the trophy, but he's still standing rock solid in front.
I think very subtly he's also rubbing it in.
He gets to. I think he has.
Yes, he deserves that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think we
deserves
can
that.
give him that.
Yes, 100%. The most incredible comeback. While the entire team was outstanding, no doubts about that. But the most
been the
incredible
hardest for
comeback
him.
has to be Hardik Pandya.
Yeah, it's been the hardest for him. I think that's why he's relishing this. I think when the World Cup win itself happened, he was so overcome with emotion that he didn't get a chance to, I think, put out all this energy and celebrate. So he's kept it reserved, I think, for 3 days and pulled it out now.
Yeah, I also think, because I again saw him on the flight, did speak to him for a considerable amount of time. I think he was saving up, because there he was much calmer, quieter. But I think he was saving up on that energy for in the front for a brief moment.
Yeah, true, yeah.
Rohit's just remained there. He said, I've kept the trophy for a long period of time, because 3 days that they were stuck in Badara, the trophy was in his room.
He
So
took a
said,
picture also,
Yes,
waking
yeah.
up to it.
So he's said, okay, now I've had enough of it. You guys enjoy it. So he's taken a back seat. He's allowed. Now you can see the trophy move on to Rishabh Pant. I think it's
And alongside him is Virat?
Yes, Virat next to him and Rohit on the other side.
Is that the head coach though?